and people being moved. And I remember like I enjoyed those a lot. So I'd like just get ready for school while watching that. And so maybe that's where the consciousness started, because then I became very curious about it. And then, but I think where the bug really bit me would be in high school. So I did a lot of poetry in high school. And so if you've been around artists, one thing they'll do is talk about consciousness and what's right and what's wrong. And they have a lot of opinions, and so that's where I started questioning a lot of things in society. Why is this like that, and why is that not like that, and who's that, and why would they say this, and all these things. And so growing into that space, I then got a teacher who was a comrade, which is why it's important, I guess, for comrades to go and spread their wings in different parts of society to cause. He was the one who would, and I think till now I still call him and say, hey, what do you think about the Iran issue? And then it becomes a whole conversation. So he was very political and politically affiliated, and so he'd talk a lot of politics to us in class. And so I remember being maybe in grade 10 when FISMA school started. And at the time, I remember we ditched the curriculum, and more of our discussion was, is free education attainable? What makes these people think it's attainable? And so I think from there, that's where my curiosity peaked, and that's where I started getting involved in deciding that this is where I want to go, because I think from that moment it hit me that I'm really just part of the working class. And that's who I am, you know, and so I could be a victim too. Why shouldn't I be a victim? And so once that started becoming like questions that I was trying to answer for myself, that's what then caused me to go into the ANC and say, okay. But I think where the difference would be, and maybe why I picked SASCO and the ANC for me, was, so at some point you listen to the EFF, and it's fun when you're really young, hey, you listen and say, oh yeah, we're going to scrap everything and start over. But at some point, the distinguishing factor for me was really that with SASCO comrades, you saw people who were well-read, who understood what they were talking about. And with other parties, we had more people who were, it was more sloganeering, more, you know, chants, more radical, but there was no really substance to it. And so that's why I joined SASCO and I decided, okay, like, it's time for us to read, let's see what we can do. And so yeah, ever since then, I've just been a part of it. Yeah, I'm trying my best, but more as an activist on the ground, trying to help wherever I can.